Good evening, everyone. Merch Hunter Ricky, and I am presenting a video to you tonight on the evolution of understanding one's own skill set. Because what we got last chapter, 1079, was a young upstart and usist kid, basically not learning anything about the concept of a parlay, and furthermore, not understanding how he beat Big Mom exactly, because he didn't beat her one-on-one. Let's just say that. Let's just call it like it is. He had help from a better fighter and a better devil fruit user. Yes, I enjoy what Kid presented to Big Mom. Hit her with the Cornadillo. Hit her with the damned punk. But my brother in Christ, what you did to Shanks' fleet theoretically in his future sight, you proved to me that you did not learn anything at all in Wano. And I'm mad. So I made a video about it. And I want to apply this to Luffy. So with that being said, let's pop into the video. When you get challenged, you struggle against an obstacle to become stronger, more intelligent, or a combination of the two. You can arm wrestle your dad, lose, and still come out on top. How, you might ask? By learning that you were A, too weak to win, or B, you tickled him and you almost won, and then you would be humbled quickly by your dad's strength. Just an example of me as a kid. So let's apply this to One Piece. Future Sight is a power we just saw Shanks levy at Kid in order to make certain the devastation he was about to unleash on Kid would be warranted. In a matter of 10 seconds, Shanks applied a beastly Future Sight that saw Kid, in fact, had the devastation of his own to unleash. And from there, Kid's defeat was spelled out in watery letters. Kid seemingly never learned from his challenges, because if he had, he would have understood the meaning behind Shanks' attempt at a parlay. And since he didn't abide by the leave or lose ultimatum, he is currently drowning in his own sorrows. Katakuri is literally 9 or 10 years older than Shanks, and I'm sure he's met his fair share of challenges. However, does that apply to being a Sweet 3 commander in a pirate crew that never really gets challenged? Katakuri was using about 5 seconds of Future Sight that I genuinely don't think we got a glimpse of him using it for longer than that. And if I'm wrong, let me know down below. Shanks is at most 10 years younger than Katakuri and can use twice the amount of Future Sight. And I think I can attribute that to this lack of challenge at the latter end of Katakuri's life as a Sweet 3 commander of Big Mom. I think if Katakuri had applied or been more challenged by harder activities, like maybe attacking Kaido's pirates, he would have destroyed Luffy. And I know the reason for Katakuri being beaten by Luffy is a matter of personality and circumstance, but let's just say he had 10 seconds of sight. Would that mean Luffy walks out a loser, or would the challenge of an even greater version of Katakuri be something that would make Luffy beat Kaido sooner? Now, to continue, I want to speak on the situation at Egghead Island and how the end of that road should be an ultimate challenge for the Straw Hat Pirates and Luffy. So we've seen Luffy learn new techniques as they are used against him. His rough upbringing by Garp is what helped him take on challenges as they come, and they never appear to break Luffy. After his standout challenge, Akainu, in the Battle of Marineford, Luffy was challenged so hard there that by surviving and being at his lowest, he grew to a greater man. He is about to face the challenge of challenges. An admiral, a member of the Gorosei, and a fleet of about 100 battleships are on their way to Egghead Island. Top it off with a little Blackbeard, and we have, by far, the biggest challenge of Luffy's life yet. Earlier in the arc, I think we saw him use Future Sight a few times against Cop Kuma, and again as Bonnie stopped him from hitting Kuma. Luffy is evolving, and I for one am ready to see the next step. Gear 5 excluded. Luffy is going to need some tricks to handle this massive battalion coming for him. How will our Straw Hat Boy handle the most amount of stress he's ever had in his life? We're going to break next week, and I, for one, need these next few days to end very fast so we can get that next chapter. I don't want the Straw Hats to kudo burst out of there. I will literally cry and scream at Oda for the rest of my life if this is what happens. I need Luffy to rise up to the occasion, and hopefully we can see some Vega Force 1 as well, slap it up in the mix. I want to see Luffy get stronger without Gear 5 so that when he is in it, he doesn't take those powers for granted. I want to see Luffy that is truly worthy of the mantle of the Pirate King. Will he see into the near future and stop an attack from ending Vegapunk or a Straw Hat? Will he use a weird type of armament hockey that we haven't seen yet? He is soon going to be confronted with an enemy he has been beaten by, an enemy he has never seen, and the equivalent of 10 Buster Calls or more. I'm ready, and I need this next chapter. I normally check spoilers, but for this next round of spoilers, I think I'm going to avoid them because I want a genuine system shock delivered to my brain. If I get spoiled, I get spoiled, but if I can help it, I'm avoiding that, and that is that. To connect Shanks to Luffy, Shanks saw Luffy's future, and future sight withstanding, he saw potential in a child Luffy being able to change the pirate world for the better. He was able to make a bet for the generation coming up behind him. Losing his arm and hat, he knew, trusting Luffy with the will of Roger, he was the first step of Luffy's evolution, and now so close to Elbaf. Will he be one of the last steps? Right now I need Luffy to wow me, knock me off my feet, and blow me away with how he chooses to leave Egghead. Will he stand and fight, or will something sinister happen to completely shock us readers? We saw Shanks destroy Kid, but now Luffy has to stand up to everyone who is an obstacle to keeping Vegapunk safe. He has to stand up and he has to rise up with the Straw Hats. He cannot be on his own this time. He has to learn from his mistake at Sabaody. He has to grow from what happened at Marineford. And although he has come a very long way, we need to see Luffy put on that serious face again, and sure, let him beat up the Gorosei and Kizaru with some goofy attacks, smiling and laughing, but let's make sure that he evolves while doing it, because that is one thing that happened with Kaido that I respect while not liking that fight too much. He did learn Advanced Conqueror's coding, and I am so happy he did, because it really changed my perspective of the fight, seeing it, a couple months later. And I just want to say I've been Merch Hunter Ricky, and I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I had fun writing it. Thank you all, and see you soon. Also, an idea just occurred to me that I gotta have massive respect for Shanks for how he basically fathers an entire fleet of dorks and geriatric people. And hey, frog guy Puddle of the frog puddle guy of the Puddle Pirates, I really like that a lot. And the old dude spitting out the teeth, and the girl that's clearly from Cavendish's kingdom, that just goes to show you what kind of guy Shanks is. That he truly cares about the entirety of the pirate generation. Like, everybody has the right to pirate. This is basically like Ratatouille, but for pirates, right? Everybody's got the right to sail the seas and follow their dreams, but the minute you whip out a railgun and start shooting people left and right willy-nilly for, kind of no reason, really, like, I don't know, like, if we were to go back and analyze 1078 and 1079, who really started the issue, right? Because it really does seem like Kid is the one that kind of just came up on Elbaf and started the fight. And, I mean, Shanks did give him a chance. Leave or fight. And unfortunately, Kid messed around and he found out. And I'm not really a proponent to blasting people for no reason, but Kid, that's kind of what you were about to do. You should have parlayed with Shanks, and unfortunately, you caught the sword, the blicky sword, if you will. Anyways, have a good night, everybody.